Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Jonathan, and to my returning subscribers, welcome back, my friends, welcome back. In today's video, I want to talk about the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy. And I want to give you three very specific moments on your spiritual journey where you literally have no choice as far as shifting to one extreme or the other. Let's get started. Let's begin by going over what is the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy. When we're speaking about the divine feminine energy, think of it as far as your heart space. Think of it as your emotional self. The divine feminine is heightened intuition. It's a caring, loving, compassionate type of energy. And then on the other extreme, you have the divine masculine. Divine masculine, think of it as your ego. It's rationally thinking. It is competition. It is analytical type of thinking. It is literally a warrior-like mentality where you will push forth no matter what is happening in your reality. But throughout life, we're always constantly shifting from divine feminine to divine masculine. You know what I mean? There's always a seesawing type of action that is going on. No matter if you're a man or a woman, you're always, depending on the situation, depending on what's happening in your life, you're shifting from one to the other. You know what I mean? It could be 55% divine feminine, 45 divine masculine, but you're constantly shifting. And these energies are necessary, but then at a certain point, it's finding that perfect balance between divine feminine and divine masculine. But as far as your spiritual awakening, as far as on your spiritual journey, there are three very specific moments on your spiritual journey where you literally have no choice as far as which energy you're going to be shifting into. And what you're going to quickly notice, it's like everything else as far as the spiritual awakening process. Whenever you're first being shown something, whenever you're first feeling something, it goes to the extreme. And just think about it. For those of you whose heart chakra has fully opened, think about how emotional you became when it finally opened. You literally were overflowing love, and everything that was happening, everything you were consuming, you were becoming emotional. You're going to the extreme. And as far as shifting from the divine feminine, divine masculine, it is the exact same thing. And the first moment where you literally have no choice but to shift into one or the other is your initial spiritual awakening. And once again, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. When you first have your spiritual awakening, the majority of individuals, it is caused by some type of event. And most of the time, it is caused by some type of traumatic event. And not only this, as far as the universe, something always happens where you're literally being able to be removed out of society. For myself, I tore 2 out of my 3 ligaments in my left ankle. Therefore, I was on workers' compensation when I had my initial spiritual awakening. And this is happening. It's God, your angels, it's the universe that is providing you with the time necessary to look within. And you're going to quickly notice is, especially if prior to your awakening, prior to going through the hermit phase, might have been real tough, you know what I mean? Always rationally thinking, leaving the heart, leaving the emotions completely out of the equation. But then what ends up happening, now you completely shift into the divine feminine energy. And it is absolutely necessary during the hermit phase to tap into this loving energy, because this energy is coming forth to allow you to heal your past. It's coming forth to allow you to peel back the layers. It's allowing you to finally begin to discover who you are. And it's literally coming forth to teach you a lesson about spirituality, teach you a lesson about how you should be living. How are you meant to move forward in this life? Because the honest truth is, we are meant to feel things. We are meant to feel our way forward. And that's the thing with spirituality. It's not something you can touch. It's not something you can see. It's not something you can hear for the most part, but it is something that you can sense as far as your connection with God, as far as your connection with your angels and your guides, as far as your intuition, knowing without a doubt to trust your heart to move forward. And that's why you shift into that complete extreme as far as the divine feminine energy. And what I suggest is honor this energy, because They are both equally powerful. Don't think for a second that if you're in the divine feminine energy, you're not able to use this energy to move forward, because you are. But it's just like everything else. You're being shown the extreme. Here's the extreme, how it feels, and then eventually it's going to balance itself back out. But now, you've used this energy, you've healed yourself, you've peeled back the layers, you've discovered who you are, you're starting to gain an understanding as far as how is it that you want to move forward. And here's now the second time that you have no choice, literally, of shifting into one energy or other. And I'm talking about is shifting completely into the divine masculine energy. This is literally after going through all this inner work and are beginning to finally realize, not quite, doesn't have to be 100% specific as far as, here's exactly what I'm aligning up with as far as my highest purpose, my life path, my highest good, my soul purpose. No, it's just you're starting to gain a deeper understanding, and is now time to start taking action. Because let's be honest, when you're in the hermit phase, you're taking all these things, you completely change who you are in a very short period of time. Therefore, when you get back out into reality, into, as far as into society, it can become overwhelming. And if you would stay in that divine feminine energy, it'd be very difficult to take action, because you'd be tapping too much into the emotions. Where now you've dealt with a lot of things from your past, you've healed yourself, you've discovered who you are, and now it's time to start to take action. That's why you shift into this divine masculine energy. And some of you might even notice this. You're feeling all these emotions, your intuition was extremely heightened up, and all of a sudden it feels like it's closed off. And not only this, during this stage, this happens to many individuals. If during the hermit phase you were connecting with your angels and your guides, you were receiving guidance, you were seeing signs and synchronicities, at a certain point, all those are going to die off. At a certain point, you're literally going to be left with yourself. And don't worry about this. You're not being punished. You didn't lose your intuition. You didn't really lose this connection with the angels and your guides. It is just the mere fact that you know now exactly what you need to do. You don't need to receive this guidance as of this very moment. It is going to come back. Don't worry about that. It is going to come back. But for a short period of time, now you're going to be logically thinking. You're going to be planning exactly how is it that you're going to want to move forward. You're going to be building this self-confidence. And you're going to have this competitive edge that's going to come out. And it might seem like this. You might start to think, oh, I'm becoming a little too insensitive. And it might happen. All of a sudden, you might become really insensitive and be really driven by a certain goal, something that you want to achieve. And it's okay. Just remember this, that this is just for a short period of time. You're being shown, here's the extreme. But then you're going to start to balance yourself out. And what's important is start taking action. When you start to sense this forward-driven energy, when you don't need to know every step to move, how to move forward. When you know without a doubt, here's the path I should be starting to align myself up with. Start taking action. And don't worry about your intuition closing off. Don't worry about that guidance, not receiving it, because it is just for a short period of time. It might be for a couple of weeks. It might be for a month. It might be for several months. But do not worry about it. You already know exactly how is it that you should move forward. And that's why all that guidance and everything is shutting off too, also to help give you this self-confidence that you need in order to move forward, in order to let go of caring how people judge you, and just taking action with what you know, what feels right inside, what you've been planning, what you've been thinking about all this time. And once you start to take action, what you're going to start to notice after a while, you're going to start to begin to find that perfect balance. And you're going to see certain moments during your journey is going to require you to be more in the divine feminine energy, and certain moments is going to be more in the divine masculine. It's truly begin to honor this energy. And the more in tune you are with your thoughts and your emotions moving forward, the more in tune you're going to be with how you're seesawing back and forth as far as this energy. And once again, both energies are equally as powerful. They are both needed. And it's going to be finding that perfect balance. And you're going to see, you're still going to go to the extreme once in a while and then shift back. But you're going to become more and more aware as far as where you stand. And I'm going to be honest with you, as far as getting ideas to move forward, I love the divine feminine energy. I love to have my intuition lead me. I love to receive that guidance and to be acting on it. And not only this, as far as raising my level of faith, my level of certainty, my inner knowing, it is the divine feminine energy. But when it comes time to take action, I step into the divine masculine, and then I just push forth. And don't worry if you're not seeing immediate results, okay? Just because there's lack of evidence doesn't mean that that is evidence of lack, okay? Meaning a lot of things right now you're doing, all this energy and you're putting into a certain project, it might not be taken off quite like you envisioned it would, but it's gonna have the compound effect. The longer, when you're truly beginning to align as far as who you are inside, as far as the most authentic version of yourself, as far as having this inner knowing, everything is going to come forth in perfect divine timing. And oftentimes that's what happens, is your level of faith is being tested. Right now you seeing this as I need to have this come forth, I want to have this come forth, or are you seeing it as, you know what, I'm going to enjoy life right now. I'm going to enjoy life. I'm going to stay in the present moment, and I'm actually grateful for being given the gift of time to prepare myself for whatever manifestation I want to have come forth. Start viewing it like this. When you start viewing your life like this, as far as your spiritual awakening, as far as this spiritual journey, you let go of so much resistance and you start to flow. Just like this river right here, you start to flow. Sometimes there's a rock, well, it has to go around the rock. Sometimes, you know what I mean? It goes faster, sometimes it goes slower, but just realize that everything is aligning in the perfect divine timing. And now the third time, where you literally have no choice as far as which energy you're going to be going into, is you've had your spiritual awakening, you've discovered yourself, you're starting to align yourself on the path that you know is right in your heart. You know without a doubt this is the path. It might be really broad as far as the idea, you know what I mean? It might not be too specific quite yet, but you're starting to align yourself on the right path. And now you're wanting to attract a partner in your life, whether it's a soulmate or a twin flame. Those of you who are lucky enough to have a twin flame here on earth right now, what's going to end up happening, and this all depends on who is more woke, who is more awakened, okay? Is whenever you attract a soulmate, whenever you attract a twin flame, whichever one of the two is the more awakened individual is going to shift into the divine feminine energy. And I'm not saying as far as shifting in this divine feminine energy, it's not going to be all the time 24/7. It's going to be with your partner, because you realize all the inner work that you've done and how much it makes you feel good, and now you want to help out your partner. And this is where you often hear about the runner chaser scenario as far as twin flames, because obviously the more awakened individual is trying to get things pulled out of their partner's heart as far as releasing this pain. Therefore, they shift in the divine feminine energy, and then their partner is shifting into the divine masculine energy. And what's important during this stage is to really be emotionally mature. Really be able to open up to your partner about what you've gone through, about what is it that you want to help them out with, and be understanding. Don't force anything on your partner, because as far as this runner chaser scenario, as far as the twin flame connection, the majority of the time it is emotional immaturity that causes this separation. And you look right now, as far as the way people are living, most people don't even try in relationships. Most people either settle or else move on. But when you're going to be meeting your soulmate, when you're going to be meeting this twin flame, you have to understand that this connection is going to be more powerful than any other connections you've ever had. Even if some of you have already had a soulmate in your life, you weren't awakened when your soulmate was there. What's going to end up happening is you are both going to most likely serve some higher purpose together. Therefore, be really understanding with your partner. Give them the time, give them the space that they need. If there's remotely any type of separation, don't continue to chase. Let them be, and instead, just send out love. That's it. It's just tap into that love frequency and continuously send them love. in order to help them heal. Because imagine, look at when you went through the hermit phase. Now this is literally happening to your partner. All these emotions are coming up. You know what I mean? It could be fear, regret, remorse, some type of traumatic event. All these emotions are coming up, but they might not be emotionally mature enough to even understand what is coming up. Therefore, they perceive it as, whoa, you're making me feel all these emotions. I feel like this every time I'm around you. I'm not liking this. That's why it's extremely important to open up to your partner as much as possible, as far as your next meaningful relationship. And not just about the small things. It's start to talk about what you went through. How was your hermit phase? What trauma came up? What did you heal? Because what you're going to quickly figure out is you're going to have much more similarities with your partner than you think. You're going to have gone through very similar situations, especially if it's a twin flame. It's going to be incredible how many different events or how many different things that you each went through. It might be somewhat in your own little specific way, but you most likely have gone through the exact same type of experiences. Therefore, if you're serious about your partners, if you're serious about this relationship, give them the time that they need. Be understanding, be compassionate. Do not force anything onto them. Accept them and love them for who they are. Love them unconditionally. Let go of the expectations and just be yourself. And when it comes time, you're both going to naturally step into whichever divine energy you should. It's just a matter of being open as far as communicating with them, being understanding, being compassionate, and seeing it through. Because as far as these relationships, they're going to take off like sparks. First 3 months, 6 months is going to feel like a honeymoon. But then some of them come crashing down. Let's say whenever you end up moving in together, whoa, now a lot of things are coming up. And what you'll quickly notice is you're going to be doing something that your partner is holding inside their heart space, something from their past, something that has happened to them. You're unknowingly going to be doing this. You're going to be reflecting this back to them in order for them to pull it out. So really become aware as far as your interactions, and just focus on love. Focus on love. Focus on your higher purpose. Focus on your life path. And you're going to see, once you get through this bump, once you're able to get through this bump, the level of love that you're going to feel is like no other before. Especially those of you who went through traumatic events, those of you who dealt with depression the majority of your life, those of you who truly struggled, there needs to be a karmic balance. And what's going to happen is no matter how much pain you've suffered in the past, now imagine you're going to be feeling the extreme, the opposite extreme. You're going to be feeling this extreme level of love, joy, and bliss and happiness. Therefore, be patient, okay? And honor these energies. And the more you're able to tap into your heart space, your intuition, acting on that guidance in order to move forward, the faster you're going to, it doesn't have to be faster, you're going to align yourself knowing absolutely everything. It's just, there's going to come a certain point on your spiritual journey where everything is just going to fall into pieces, not into pieces, but all fall all together. Everything is going to align. And that's when the wonderful journey begins. That's when you're truly going to be stepping out of your comfort zone, because you know you're divinely guided and protected. You know that every single step that you're taking right now is leading you down the right path. And as far as these emotions, whenever it just seems like you're feeling overwhelmed, meditation, focus on gratitude and love. And then look at your life right now. What's blocking you right now? What do you desire to have come forth? It doesn't have to be the big end goal, but what would help you to motivate you? What would help you to help raise that level of faith? Because there's going to come a time during your spiritual journey where it's going to be intuition over rational thinking. And you might fail the first time. The first time you might be like, I knew I should have gone this way, but I picked rational thinking. And if you do this, it's okay. See it as you learn. It's a lesson. That's what this journey is all about. It is non-stop learning. And ever since I've had my awakening, I've been taking in more and more knowledge. I no longer waste my time on meaningless entertainment. I'm either learning, practicing, or taking action. And it's just by doing this that you're going to be able to align yourself on the path that is chosen for you. And when you do, life honestly becomes magical, because you release the stress, you release all this worrisome thinking. You know what I mean? You're worrying about all these different things, have anxiety coming up, you're losing sleep over bills and things like this. Everything starts to unfold how it should, and everything starts to align exactly how it should, because through all this inner work, you've been raising up your vibration. Therefore, God and the universe has no choice but to start to give you what is a vibrational match to you. And sometimes there is some lag. Sometimes there is some lag, but guess what? Delayed gratification ends up happening. Is there's some lag. It could be 3 months, 6 months, a year. It seems like nothing is coming forth. But then hang on, because it's going to be one manifestation after another. And it's during this transitional phase, just while you're taking these quantum leaps, if you're able to maintain the high vibrations, no doubt in your mind, you just know, guess what? I've been putting a lot of work. I've been meditating on the result that I want to have. I've been envisioning it. I've been sending out affirmations. I've been putting out intentions. That's what you're going to start to get back. And as far as this path, it's going to totally tap you into your heart space. And not only this, by fully opening up your heart chakra, you're going to be opening up your third eye and your crown chakra. You're going to be gaining more and more understanding, deeper understanding as far as how to move forward. Well, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys have any questions regarding divine masculine or divine feminine, comment down below. Other than that, I love you guys. You guys have an awesome day. Namaste.